Hi guys, welcome to my channel once again. This episode will be completely different. Basically here we will try to solve one problem. The problem is very simple and straightforward. So this is the solution we are expecting once you run the Python script. So basically there will be one file, your code will generate one file like this your file, and it should have print like this type of thing. Okay, some text, and the text is like this is line number 1 of the file like this, and here each line it is incrementing like 1 2 3 4 5, and here also incrementing. Okay, so you need to create a file, and you also need to write the file inside it, and also you need to update these values in this quiz. So let's get a try. Just to give you a little hint, you have to use definitely file operation. You can use like regular file operation using open and close together, or with block, so you don't need to close the file. And then you need for loop, basically to loop from here to there. Like right now it is 1 to 5, but it might be like 1 to 10, right? It depends. And then you also need to use some counter, like here we are using 1 2 3 4 5. And also you also need another thing, that is string manipulation. I already created 2 videos till now, which are basically doing string on is string. Here actually we are using string letters, or we are modifying the string like this way. So definitely you need some string thing here to manipulate the thing, and that's all. So let's give it a try. You can pause the video and you can try, and then you can see the solution. All right, so I will give you one solution. This is one of the approach to solve this problem, but you can solve different many ways. Okay, so let me create a file first. Like let me create the file name like quiz solution. And definitely it's Python file, so we are putting .py. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to create this file right first. So we can use open method to open the file or to create the file, whatever you wish. So you can tell. Then suppose the file name is like mynewfile.txt. Suppose this is my new file name. Okay, then we have to define whether this is read method or write method. Definitely we need to write something, right? So basically we'll use w mode, and w means write, and this is a text file, so we are using text. And we can also define mode like this. Okay, or you can also ignore this part. It doesn't have any effect. Okay, but you can also use I like this way to define. And we can also define the encoding. It will be UTF-8. I'm using UTF-8, but if you wish you can use other thing. So if we open this way, then we have to define the close thing, right? Like this way. Okay, but I will not do that. I will use with open block, with open, and at last we have to define as if that is a variable, like. So by this line, what we are doing, we are opening the file, and definitely we are opening in write mode. Okay, and then we are also passing the encoding and file name also. Okay, now by this line we can open the like create the file, right? And let's try one thing. Let me put the pass to test whether it is able to write or not. So right now there is no file, right, with this name mynewfile.txt. Okay, so if we run the script, what will happen? We can expect a file, but the file will be empty, right? So let me run the script. So there is no error. That means it is able to execute successfully. And if we check in this folder, then we are seeing my new text file, my new file. So this is my new file. It is able to create, right? So this part is done, right? So what we did till now, what is the script here? No, this quiz. So till now what we did, we opened the file, and then we didn't do anything. We opened the file in write mode, and finally we pass the thing everything, so that it close later after actually open closing after executing this block. Okay, now what is our goal? We have to write this type of thing, right? So definitely we need on for loop, like which will start from 1 2 3 4 5, something like that. Okay, so let's write the for loop here. So we can use for, and here we can type something like for line, for example line in if you want to print the 5 line, then we have to put like 5 range. We can use range operator, a range function, and inside it we can put 4, right? Because we want to print 5 lines, right? And here order the line or type of right line, we need this thing, right? I can copy this thing so that it will be easier to make to understand. Okay, so here I'm writing this thing, but this is, I will put a comment here. Okay, so here we'll start the for loop, and then it will run till the four range, right? It will go one by one, right? So here there is one thing, we have to write this whole string, right? So we can use print method, right? Print, and then inside the print method we can define this whole string. So I'm going to copy this string. Okay, this thing, right? So let me run this thing, let me check what it is doing. Okay, so I'm going to run, and there is no error. Okay, it's printing. Okay, but is it printing correctly? I think it is printing correctly, right? But how many lines we are expecting? 5 lines. So basically we need to put it 5, right? So it is printing 5 lines. Okay, fine, but it is not writing. For writing we need to use some sort of write method, right? So here what we have to do, we have to write something, right? So to write this thing in this file, what we have to do, we have to do f dot, what is the thing we need to, do you remember what is the function name? We need to write lines, right? Because we want to write each line. Okay, then we can put this thing, and then inside it we can define this thing, right? So let me do one thing, let me create a variable like my string. Suppose I created my string like this, so we want to write this my string thing. Okay, now till now what we did, we created on file, and then we are looping till 5, and we are writing on a string inside it. So let me run this thing and check. So there is one error. What is the error? It is showing there is one parenthesis. Basically we don't need this thing, we put by mistake. And let me clean this thing and then run it again. So there is no error. So let me open the file now, and we'll see it is printing everything on a single line and 5 times, right? So basically what we have to do, it is not printing, so we can add a new line slash new line. Okay, now if we run, then we'll see it is able to write everything each line, right? But our goal was, here the number should be increment 1 2 3 4 5 6, and here also we should need to increment this thing. So we need on counter, right? This is the file, we can close this thing, it is making more confusion. And also this is the old, okay, this is our expected output. Let me open this thing, keep open. So here we need to change this thing, right? So how can we change this thing? So we need to put some counter here, and this counter will be changing each time. So let me open a counter equal to line plus 1. For example, it will start from 1, right? So if we run the script, what will it give me? It will give me some output, right? But here we need to replace this value, right? We need to replace the value with counter. So I'm going to use the string format. I'm using literal. So here I will use f, and then inside it I will use the counter, and here also we need counter. Now if we try to run this Python script, let's see what it will give us the output. So here it is executing nicely, there is no error. And let me open the file and see what is that? We are getting the exact output, right? So it's pretty simple and straightforward, right? So this file and this file are the same, right? This is this thing, this, but here there is on square thing we can also put. That is very easy. So here what we have to do, we have to put on square bracket. Okay, and anything is there? Nothing. That's all. Okay, now finally let me run it again. Let me clean this thing and run this thing, and it is running fine. And let's check the file. Okay, so now it is fine. It is giving us the exact output. So in this way we can solve this problem, but you can solve this thing many different way, but this is one of the approach which I used, but you can use other approach also. So what I did here, I am discussing it again a little bit. So here basically by this line what we did, we created file object and we opened the file in with block, so that we didn't need to close the file. It makes like one line of code, it decreased. And then after that what we did, we created on for loop. Inside that for loop we are actually going till 5. So we are iterating 5 times, and after that we also declared on counter. This counter actually it is counting 1 2 3 this way, right? As it is the for loop, it is just from 0. Okay, so here what we did, we put 0 plus 1. That means it is printing, it is incrementing 1, and then it is printing here 1. And finally we format the string. So here formatting we are using f operator we use, right? This is on type of string formatting which we discussed in the string format. There are 2 videos based on the string. If you watch those 2 videos, this thing should be very simple and easy. Just watch this if you don't understand this thing, because I'm not going to discuss this thing, but in short I can tell you we are actually replacing the value here, and we are formatting the value as with new line, as each line will print in the new line, right? And then finally we are writing this thing here. Now one question, what will happen if we put a here? This is append mode. If we put append mode, then will it able to write? Definitely it will write, but the problem is it will actually append after there, right? It will not remove this thing. So let me show you. So here let me clean this thing and run the Python script, and then open the file again, and you'll see this all the first run, and this is the second run. Okay, so it is appending again. So it is not deleting this thing, it is appending each time. Okay, but our exercise was to change this file every time we run the application or script. It will change this thing, and here we actually printed like 5 lines. You can, if you wish, you can put any number, and you can also print that thing. Like let me remove a w w, and then let me change the range like 10, for example. We want to print 10. So if we run the script, then we'll see. Okay, then go to my new file, and it's showing 10 lines is there. So that's all, guys. I think this program was very interesting, and this is very good approach to do some exercise, so that you can make your learning more sharp. I strongly recommend you to try at least. If you don't do, just try to do now. Let's try to understand how this file operation is working, and I have couple of videos where I discuss each of the topic very detailed. So just watch, just try those, and finally come to here, and then try to solve this problem. It will give you a strong basic. Really, it will help you to build your basic very strong. In future, when you will do some Python programming, I mean to create some web application or some desktop application using Python, at the time you will feel that how much important this thing is. And if your goal is to become a data science engineer, then definitely this file operation is mandatory. Every day you have to do something. I personally, I face lots of challenges every time, but to solve those things, those are really critical problem. But to solve those, you definitely need a strong base. So this file operation, I believe it will give you a strong base, at least like not 100%, at least 50% you can apply in your future life. So thank you for watching and trying to solve the quiz. And if you like the quiz or like the video, please hit the like button. And if you still didn't subscribe, or if you are a new viewer of my channel, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.